We did it again. We got meat chicken. We're gonna go over some of the things that we're doing differently this time around than we did last time. So here we go. So one of the things that we did differently for these meat chickens was the last chicken tractor that we had them in was really big. It was too big for these guys, and it was really heavy to move. So we made sure that this chicken tractor was only 2 cattle panels wide. So we got 2 cattle panels in there at 50 inches each. So it's 100 inches long, and then it is 10 feet wide. So we're still able to walk through it. We have to duck our heads under there a little bit, but we are able to walk in there very comfortably and move everything around. So last time for our meat chickens, we didn't want them to get too big because we were going out of town and we were really scared about that. So we wanted to make sure they weren't able to get too fat. So we didn't free feed them at all. We didn't do 12 hours on, 12 hours off. We gave them 2 scoops of the Tractor Supply scoops and then poured it on the ground, and they were able to scratch and dig for it. For these guys, we wanted them to get as big as possible because our last batch came out very small. They averaged anywhere from 2 to 4 pounds. And 4 pounds is still a good chicken, but it was very few and far between. So what we did differently, we got these 5-gallon buckets from Tractor Supply, drilled holes in them, put feeder heads in there, and we are feeding them constantly throughout the day. So they are getting fed 24/7 if they want to eat late at night. But we find that they do the 12 hours on, 12 hours off, even with us not coming out here and covering up the feed. So they're out here eating their feed, and they've already gotten so much bigger than our last batch from where they're at now. Right now they're at about 6 weeks, and they're probably 3.5, 4 pounds each. And so by the time we butcher them, I'm hoping they'll be around 8, but I'm thinking they're gonna be around that 5 to 6 range, which that's really good as well. So that's one thing that we're doing differently with our chickens this time around. As you can see, we got some new friends in here. So we got turkeys, and they are not really supposed to be housed with chickens. However, we just got 6 of them, or 5 of them, and they seem to be doing fairly well. Some of them have a little bit of chicken pox or poultry pox, which you can kind of see some of the black. And that's just from being housed with chickens, but that'll go away once we butcher our chickens, and then they'll be completely fine after that. They've done really well on the meat chicken feed. Probably be feeding them game bird feed once we butcher our chickens, so they can have a little bit of extra protein and bulk up. And then we'll probably end up butchering them in about 4 to 5 weeks after we butcher our chickens, which we'll butcher our chickens at the beginning of November. So they won't be quite ready by Thanksgiving, but they'll definitely be ready by Christmas. You'll also notice we got guineas. We have a really bad mosquito problem here on the farm, and it's not good. We have bad problems with ticks and just nasty insects. And so guineas are really, really, really good at getting all the insects. So we're actually just gonna let them free range. We're not even gonna house a coop for them. They're just gonna fly up in the trees, and they're just gonna be our wild guineas out here taking care of all of the insects. So that's what we're doing differently with our guineas as well. They're gonna just be free range. So we added a couple things since our last video. Another addition that we've made to the chicken tractor is we've added this dolly. So when we move it in the morning, because we move the chicken tractor daily, we lift it up like that, and there's a chicken, of course, that's gonna try to, come on, chickie, what are you doing? and we just tuck it under and then move it in the morning. And we move it to a fresh spot of grass. And as a matter of fact, you can see right here where we've been moving them. We also moved them into the garden, and they've done a great job clearing that out. But we move it to a new spot every day, and they get fresh grass. They peck at it, they eat it, and they absolutely love it. So it's been great to move. And since we got a smaller chicken tractor, it's way easier to move. It's so much lighter than our last one. So we really, really like this chicken tractor so far. Same build, just smaller. So this is one of our chickens, and she is about 6 weeks old. All of our Cornish cross are about 6 weeks old right now, and they'll be ready to butcher not this coming weekend, but the following weekend. So we're super excited about that, and they will be on our dinner table. And then we will give out some recipes that we've been doing with our recent batch, and we've really enjoyed it. So we're gonna butcher our Cornish cross chickens at 8 weeks. You can have them go as long as 12 weeks, and you can get a really, really big chicken. Some of them have even gotten up to 10 pounds. It's ridiculous. I don't really suggest that just because it's kind of hard to cook. However, if you're looking for just a really, really big chicken and that's all you care about, go to about 10 weeks and get that 10 pounds and you'll be fine. These guys are gonna dress out probably at around 5 to 6 pounds. We might get some that are 8, but we're hoping to average at around 5 pounds, and that's a really good chicken. It'll be bigger than anything you get in the grocery store. They're typically anywhere from 2 to 3 pounds in the grocery store, so you'll get an extra pound of meat. But one thing that we found out about our Cornish cross from feeding them constantly, they eat a ton. We've gone through about a bag a week since we've had them. And then at this tail end, they've gone through a bag, which is 50 pounds of meat bird feed about every 3 days. So they're eating a ton, but they're putting on the weight. So the meat to feed ratio is actually really, really good. So it's okay. But they are doing really, really well with the feed. They're eating. Even though it's costing a good little bit to have our chickens in here, if you're only doing 10, it may cost a little bit less for you. We have 27 meat chickens in here. We also have 5 turkeys and 4 guineas, so you have to factor all of that in. So even though they're going through quite a bit of feed, it's not all the meat chickens. The turkeys are eating it and the guineas are eating it. So it's a little bit different. So make sure you keep that in mind when you're feeding your chickens, or if you choose to house anything else in there. Make sure you keep that in mind. You do get a lot more meat with the turkeys. So they're eating a bunch, but you'll get a lot more meat, and they'll be able to be butchered. I believe 20 weeks is about where you can do it, but really you can gauge it by looking at them, and if they're getting big, just go ahead and butcher them. Say, hey, we're gonna butcher them this weekend. You can grow them to the size that you want to have at. So they still got a little bit to go on before they get butchered, but we're probably about 4 to 5 weeks away before we can do that. So that's a wrap on our meat chickens. We'll catch you on Butcher Day. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this video made you want some meat chickens and you go out and get them sometime in the springtime. It's probably gonna get a little too cold for it in North Carolina, but get them in the springtime. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe to us. We would love to have you part of the Harvest Lure fam. And we'll catch you on the next video.